Okay, hello. This is my first time doing any sort of live streaming, so I hope it goes okay. Basically, I'm making a stream about game development. I'm going to be using Autodesk Maya for the 3D modeling stuff and Unity as the game engine. My background is in 3D art and computer science. The game I'm going to be developing is basically in the future, all civilization ceases to exist except for people who retreated to like this dome city, survival city. Like they bought into a timeshare or something. And when the world ceased to exist as we know it, only the people who took shelter here survived. And a few hundred years have passed, and life in this city has kind of continued on in a dystopian fashion where there's people working, like the lower class working down here to like create food, get resources, kind of like keep the city functioning. And then there'll be a second layer to the city where the middle class lives. And here is kind of like where the military, police kind of people live, and they keep the city like under control. And then there's a top kind of tier, upper class part of the city where like the royalty, rich people slash the people who built this shelter live. And I think like at the very top of this like skyscraper will be where like the ruler of the city, the founder or whatever, will live. So if we kind of look at it from a top-down perspective, let me hide the dome. There's the lower city, outer ring. Then there's like the middle ring, and then the upper class part of the city up here. And there's 8 districts for each tier. So the districts are kind of divided by these like walls and stairs. And the idea is there'll be like guards and stuff preventing like the lower class people from going up to the middle class of the city. And same with like the upper class of the city. There'll be another kind of like gate slash stop guard post that'll prevent people from going up there. And as far as like story for this game, I have a couple like rough ideas, but basically maybe there'll be like some resistance or something that lives in the lower part of the city, and they're trying to like rebel and take over the city, the upper part of the city, because you know the lower class has been working for hundreds of years to keep this city alive, and they don't get treated well. They're kind of oppressed. It's like a dystopian society, and they want to make the city a better place to live. And you know, the people up here just want to remain in power, and the military in the middle is just kind of like doing what they're told, I guess. So nothing too original with the story. I'll figure it out. Then as far as like where I'm currently at with this, I have a few like I've been working on it for like 3 months part-time, and I have a bunch of random systems in place. So I kind of have like a Google Maps style, like location-based database, so I can all these buildings have like metadata attached to them, like rooms, bedrooms, apartments, restaurants, and it's all like graph database. So players can move around and go to different locations easily. And the idea is like this game will be kind of like a simulation. So there'll probably be like 10,000 like people in the city living, and they all have like daily jobs and schedules, and they'll act somewhat believably and go about to their jobs and their lives. And you as the player are kind of like an independent variable, so you can change how things happen and change how the simulation goes. So yeah, that's basically it. Let me hit the play button. So right now, all the buildings are pretty repetitive. There's just one building, and it's built from like modular pieces. But I'm hoping in the future to actually like polish this stuff up, make it look good. And right now in this simulation, there's 2,000 people in the population who are spawned, and they spawn in their apartments. So this apartment doesn't even have a door. They don't like you being in their apartments without permission. So I'm gonna leave before I get killed. And this, I programmed it so the player can open all the doors, but other characters need keys to open the doors. And right now, these characters are just doing a very simple daily schedule. They're just walking around their apartments a little bit, and then they come down to like one of the stores in the bottom of the apartment, and I think they just like sit down in this restaurant, and that's all they do. Also, if you like draw a weapon, they'll like be afraid of you. So yeah, like this person sits at that chair, and they all look for different chairs to sit in. And you only the characters that are close to the player get rendered, but there's actually like each one of these buildings has I think like 50 characters probably. So the same thing's happening in the rest of the game. And there's like an update loop. So the players on screen update continuously, and then the players off screen update more discreetly, but all the actions in the game are time based. So things should move at the same pace, whether they're happening on screen or off screen. And the same thing should happen. Probably won't be able to move this quickly in the actual game. I just made it fast so I could move around a lot quicker. So I'm thinking there'll be like escalators or something to make going up and down these stairs easier. And then this is the middle class part of the city, which I haven't even put buildings up here yet, but it'll overlook the lower city. And there'll be like another guard outpost here, and if you have permissions, you can go to the upper part of the city where the rich people live. And this, I'm thinking, is gonna look like kind of like a giant garden, very opulent looking futuristic city part. And this will be like where the really rich people live. So yeah, right now all the models are really rough, just a block in, and I'm spending like half my time trying to like lay out the city, and the other half of my time just like programming some of the systems to make it work. Like these guards don't do anything right now, but the idea is there'll be like a giant guard outpost here, and guards or military police from the middle district will like come down here for their shifts, and there might be like snipers or weapons up here, and the guards will work here and make sure no one gets through here that shouldn't. And then there'll be like people down here maybe doing stuff they shouldn't be doing, and trying to start a resistance to like break through and get up here. So I've also been doing some work in a smaller like test scene, because it's faster to develop in a smaller environment. So here, let's see. This is kind of where I test out different parts of the game. So like here's a very simple scenario where this like assassin is trying to get inside this apartment to assassinate a target, but the door is locked, so they can't do anything. But as soon as you like open the door, they're no longer blocked for that task. So they'll fight each other. Looks awful right now, but it technically works. I think I can also increase the speed of the game. So okay, so yeah, the assassin successfully killed the clown. And probably be people over here. But yeah, if you like draw your gun, they'll like freak out and not do anything. If you put it away, they'll continue with their tasks. So I just asked this character to follow me because I want to show how some of the systems work. Okay, so he's following me, but if I like close this door, he won't It's definitely a bug. This is actually his house, so he could open the door. But if I go to a different house, this one, he shouldn't be able to get in here. If I close this door, since they can't follow me anymore, they'll like go back to their other tasks. But yeah, let's see. You can't open the door. So they're now blocked on their like goal to follow this character. So they'll like go back to their next highest priority thing. And unfortunately, as soon as the door opens, they'll like come back to following me because I don't have like a time to live or like timeout for their actions. I'll tell them to stop following me. And now this character will just go back to doing their other routine. And yeah, if you draw your weapon and they can see it, but right now, if you go behind them, they won't see it anymore, and they'll like go back to their things. But yeah, this person doesn't want me in their house. You can also shoot people in the game. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of bugs right now. Like all these characters they keep going for the same chair to sit in, and I should just program them to like claim different chairs in advance so they're not all queued up on one chair. But all right, so now I'm actually going to try to do some development. I've been using Pinterest to look for like inspiration. So I have a bunch of images I've saved of how I want the city to look, and like different things. So like this is kind of how I want like the upper part of the city to look. Like nice gardens and kind of going for like a cyberpunk sci-fi like Hong Kong look for the lower part of the city. But so I think what I might try to work on right now is programming some like behavior for the guards. So the guards will like maybe like live here or work from here, and they'll have shifts where they come out here and like protect this gate from people and like make sure only certain people can pass through, kind of like a checkpoint. So yeah, going to work on that. I'm going to do that in the larger scene, I think. Oh yeah, so each building has like different the database for this building, and you can see all the like little locations and pieces of data. Right now I'm just saving it to like a JSON file. And I'm trying to remember how I actually did this. So it looks like I can set the district type, the location type for each like node. So there is a concept of middle district. Okay. And this one has all these like buildings. So I think I'm just gonna duplicate this and rotate it 45 degrees. All right. So now we have like the middle district, and of course it looks the exact same as the lower district, but they're classified a little differently, I think. So middle district. Oh, probably don't need all these. Let's see. 1/8, 1/8. Put them all in here. Okay. You can delete all these, I think. Cool. All right, so if I load this database for the whole level, it's kind of slow, but you can see all these like text things. That's like a very inefficient way of me just displaying all the locations that are saved to this database. And right now, it doesn't know about the new buildings I just created. So I have to press save database again. And what this does is it's just like an editor script, and it just scans the scene and rebuilds like the graph database for the level. So if I hit load again, well, it actually relies on like an actual asset that needs to actually be re-imported. The editor doesn't always like detect when files are saved or changed. So if I click load again, sweet. Okay, so now all the buildings that I just added are part of the level again, which is good. So what I'm gonna do is change the code that spawns people into the game. So it'll spawn soldiers in the upper or the middle district. So let's see what this code looks like. Create population, add people from apartments. What does this do? Spawn people in apartments. Lower class apartments. Okay, so looks like this class is just a collection of different locations, and I'm querying the database for something that is an apartment node, and I'm building up an apartment which right now has a list of locations for beds, places for people to wander inside the apartment, the actual location itself, doors, and maybe eventually an owner for the apartment. So this looks good actually. I think this will just work. I'm spawning military police. So I'll hit save. And alright, if I play the game, there should be a bunch of like soldiers that spawn into the game now. Yeah, so looks like the population of the city just increased by 1,200. And if I go up here in these buildings, I think there should be soldiers or something. Yep. And they don't do anything. They're just like standing where they spawned. Let's see. Oh, that's so laggy. I need to improve the debug view. So yeah, they have no goal. They're not doing anything. I need to fix that sometime. Cool. So let's look at the code for soldiers. So right now, it looks like they just, all they do is attack nearby enemies. If they're actually can see an enemy, and they respond to being under attack. So when you hit them, they'll fight back. But they don't actually like have any sort of task. So I think I want to make them like go to the checkpoint and defend it. So I need to create like a checkpoint. You do it here. I was looking at another asset in the game to see what components I need to use to turn this like checkpoint into something that the game can understand. So it looks like I have two scripts, a scene locator where I can like describe what type of location it is and what type of data it should have. And this gets serialized into like the game, the database. And then this is like a component that if it's like a detail or something, rather than loading the object into the game, it'll load it from like a pool of objects and only load the object when you're close to it. So that way you can like build a detailed city but only ever load the stuff you actually need to see or do computation on. So I will copy this component, I'll paste it here, and we need a new location type. So in here, call it, oh, we actually already have one, guard spot. That sounds good. Guard spot, and maybe make this look a little different for now. Okay. So if I put some of these like guard spots here, and I'm just going to create a parent object where I can put all my locations that aren't part of other prefabs here. And I think if I hit save, it should capture those. Just make sure it did. Re-import. It's so laggy. I need to fix that. Let me see something. Actually needs to belong. This needs to go under here, because it needs this root node. Okay. So now I'm going to try to make the guards go to the guard spot. So I have some like similar code that I already wrote called go to streetlight. And what it does is it finds looks for a streetlight, and the character will go to the streetlight. So honestly, this could be made something more generic, but for now I'm just going to copy the code because I'll probably do different stuff. And I can always refactor it later if I need to. So, new class, guard, call it checkpoint, evaluator. Looks good. So there's no condition that needs to be met for this to happen. So if I go up to the network of goals for the military police, the way the AI currently works is it's literally just an ordered list of like goals that they'll perform. So the order in which they're added matters because it's like the natural priority or order for things to happen. So if this evaluator is true, it'll do this goal and it won't do any of these. But if this is false, this is false, this is false, then it will like evaluate this thing. So like attacking nearby enemies, being under attack, being dead, like if you're dead you can't do anything. So what I'm going to add is a new something that should be down here because it's lesser priority, and it should be like what did I call it? Checkpoint evaluator. So basically right now they'll do all this stuff before they spend time going to this like checkpoint. Then I can probably eventually replace this action that they're going to do when they get to the checkpoint with like a guarding behavior. But right now a no-op action is literally just like do nothing. So let's see if this works. So what I'm expecting to see is a lot of guards in here, but instead of them doing nothing, they're actually gonna come down here to these like checkpoint locations that I just created, and they should just stand here, and that's basically it. And then if someone from the lower class like moves by them, I think they'll actually attack them because they're like, I have like a faction system I added a while back, and I think that'll kick in. The one other thing I need to do is I need to rebake the navigation mesh because I added new buildings here and there's no like graph. There's no like navigation graph for these new buildings. So I'm using A star, which is something I bought on the asset store. But let's see if I can load it. Load from cache. And yeah, you can see like the nav mesh was built for the other parts of the level, but it doesn't exist for these new buildings that I created. So I'm just gonna regenerate it, and before I do that, let's see, I need to make sure every object in this is considered level geometry, because my nav mesh only takes into consideration that layer when baking. Generate cache, and she usually takes like a few seconds. It's a lot faster on my new computer. but it used to take a few minutes. I wonder if anyone's watching this. Does not look like it. Yeah, well, it's computing this navigation mesh. My computer got really slow. Okay, sweet. So that took a minute and a half. That's pretty good, I think, because this is way better than Unity's navigation system. It's a lot more. You have a lot more control with A star, I think, than the built-in navigation pathfinding stuff. So okay, now there's navigation mesh, so the players should be able to, the guard should be able to come down. Okay, sweet. So these guards that didn't spawn, where are they going? Actually. Ah. Whoa. This is way too laggy. Where are they going? I only added one checkpoint, or checkpoints for one of the districts, so maybe I should restart and just spawn closer to that. So that's here. Where do I spawn? Ah, I spawn all the way over here. I'm gonna just increase the game speed a bit. Speed up like the movement. Okay, so yeah. It lags a lot when I do that, but basically I just sped up the time that the simulation happens. So these guards are already moving down the steps, and pretty soon there'll be a ton of guards over here. Increase the simulation speed. Oh, it's so slow. It's It's not a good sign when Unity is telling you to hold on. Okay. Whoa. I feel like increasing time as much as I did broke the game a bit. It's not good. That's not very performant. Just reload this. Okay. This time I'm not going to speed up the simulation because I think that didn't work very well. So yeah, right now the AI is pretty dumb, and they don't even notice when you shoot someone next to them. There's definitely some performance problems right now. I think I know what it is actually. Let me see something. Query. I'd added code that basically every update an entity looks for all entities that are like that are nearby to it, and there's like a filter that happens, and this filter is like a list of filters to apply. So like if you're, for example, looking for nearby people, nearest enemy, first thing you check is like look for nearby people who are alive. Can the source attack the target? Like, are they opposite factions? And then I had added this thing like is in field of view and is not occluded. And these are like filters. Let's see what it looks like. So this is probably just like some simple, like, is the person facing? Yeah, it's just like simple trigonometry thing. But this is not occluded, uses a line cast, and I think simulation. I think I'm doing 600 people update operations per second, which that means 600 line casts per second, actually, the way it's currently implemented, which is not good. So might need to optimize that. So I'm hoping this fixes things. Because right now, each one of these people, every frame is doing a line cast. Very unnecessary. Okay. All right. Frame rate's still dropping every few seconds. I'll have to look at why that's happening later. So I'm gonna go grab someone from here. Say follow me. Oh yeah, it's so slow. What did I do? I feel like I must have added something recently that like broke the entire performance for this game. Wasn't this slow before I added the guards. I don't know why. so slow. What I might do is just lower the number of guards we have for a bit. Does not work in C#. Get range. How does this work? Index count. Okay, that makes sense. So let's only have 30 guards, I guess. I hope this doesn't crash as bad as the last one. Okay, so rather than having 3,000 people in the simulation, there's only 2,000 now. Speed it up. There's the guards. Okay, so there's only like 30 guards now. It's way faster, which is good. Okay. What are they doing? I think they're attacking people. Let's see. Oh god. I need to fix the debug view. So yeah, I think they're actually searching for the lower. Right now they're programmed to attack the lower citizens when they see them. So I think this actually might turn out pretty ugly. Cause I think they're about to enter this restaurant and attack everyone inside of it. Let's see what that looks like. Yep. Oh my god. Wow. That's crazy. And believe it or not, they're actually fighting each other now, I think, because the way I programmed it is if they accidentally attack each other, then they get like mad. Like they remember who attacked them last, and the collisions, like the colliders for the attacks, they can hit anyone. So if you like hit someone on your team, they'll like get angry and they'll attack you. Just finish that. So yeah, I have. If I turn the like is occlusion check on again, the guards won't attack like that because they only attack things they can see on the screen. I'll just speed it up the game to make it so the guards come down faster. There they are. Cool. Okay, so now because I enabled when they get nearby enemies, looks like this should be a to do or something, but how I currently do like the path or the detecting if someone's nearby is I actually have like a hash map of like grid squares or cubes, I guess, and it's a mapping of like some giant chunk of position to like a list of entities inside that like location. And once, so when you want to find nearby entities, you just figure out what coordinate you're at and then what other entities are in that coordinate space with you. And then I apply like filtering on top of that. So like then I'll do ray casts or field of view filters. But right now it's not very optimized, so I can definitely optimize it. But yeah, now I want to bring someone over. So I'll have this person follow me. I'll speed it up a bit. And the way it's currently programmed, yeah, so now the guards see the lower citizen and they foolishly think that the person was trying to like come up to break into the second district, the upper class district. And also the guards are fighting each other because it looks like when an attack happens, it does damage. So you can hit, it's friendly fire is turned on basically, which is not good. Maybe I should turn that off. Let's see. On damage. Okay. Let me turn that off. Don't let the same faction hit each other. So that should no longer happen. Okay. So now they'll fight each other, but the military police shouldn't attack each other anymore. Cool. Then they go back to their guard post. And that's it. Of course, the main character is super strong. and I think this guy's running away. They're programmed when they're low on health to like run to their spawn point or something, I think. So if I shoot him once, twice, 3 times, maybe not. I don't know. Where are these guys coming from? Probably a farther away district. So that's disappointing though. Maybe this is too many update operations per second. Change it to like 300, 200. But I still want all the guards. In the simulation. Okay, yeah, this is running a lot smoother now. I think there's too many. I guess doing 600 updates per second is too much when the updates involve more complicated stuff. But maybe I can figure out why it's slow, and I can still get 600 updates per second. Because I'd like to have this simulation have maybe 12,000 people, and being able to update characters a lot faster would be good. I also think there's some performance problems when there's too many characters getting loaded on screen. I don't have any like object pooling for the characters yet. I only have it for props. So I think that's probably why it's getting really slow actually. Like if I were to run over here. Yeah. Now it's performing again. So I think the problem is just too many characters on the screen. Which I can easily fix. Yeah. So I think I need to optimize this somehow. Probably this code where I'm like spawning actors. This should like come from a pool, I think. Do I use this at all? This would be faster. If the order, this is much faster check than this. Alright, that's all for my stream today. I'm gonna call it a night. Thanks for watching, if anybody watched this.